there are three approaches. The one approach is, let's find the answer. The other approach is, let's defer to those who have done that work and have found the answer for us. Let's just take their answer. And the third one is to not do an honest investigation and not to defer to those who have done that honest investigation, but instead to go with our gut or to go with what our peer group says and reject the others.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I have pointed this out several times. I think that's the difference between us.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm starting to see that a lot through this, because there's stuff that I should have thought about more and answered myself on that I just kind of been, taking their word for it, because I'm just replacing what I thought I knew with new stuff, because I've come to the conclusion that the what's it called? That they're lying about it through the presentation of, like, the ISS and stuff like that. So yeah, you're absolutely right. There is a huge bias there, and I want to get back to a place where I'm like, doing that stuff and like thinking about it, more critically, instead of just like listening to it and the kind of, absorbing it, and then just going, well, that's the way it works. Because that angle incident shit's fascinating that you just pointed out. That's like, I haven't heard anyone say that at all, and that's pretty big, man. You just body bag that that meme.
Well, I mean, I teach computer graphics, right? So reflections of light is something that we have to study. We have to look at it very closely and like say, what does the real world do? How do I make my computer do that, right? How do I make it look real? And so, yeah, I happen to know how light bounces off of surfaces, right? And I think most people don't, right? Most people just don't know.
Yeah.
Right. But that brings us again to that same thing, is there's three ways to go. You can do all the research to find out. You can take the word of someone who's done the research, or you can just reject all research and just go with whatever you pull out of the thin air.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's what's going on. I think that's what flat Earth is to me, is if you pull stuff out of thin air enough.
I think there's definitely an aspect to that. And because there's, it gets to a point where, you don't check yourself, right? And it's a real shame that that Bob wouldn't have you on Globebusters, because I think that would have been really cool for you to talk about. I forget what it was you guys were disputing about, but
yeah, it was about airplanes, how airplanes work.
Yeah. Something about
and I think that was exactly that. That's what I'm talking about when I say it's not honest, right? I don't know if you caught it.
Yeah, I did. That was a real fucking shame, man. I was hoping he would have brought you on, because I was
tell me, as a flat earther yourself,
mm-hmm.
Was it, as I claim, it was outright dishonest what he was doing? What do you think?
Well, I don't have like the messages or interaction between you two from his.
Well, the public, you saw the public messages where I said, "Hey, I'm here to answer any questions that you got. Would you like to have me on?"
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He said no. And then he started bashing me, and I said, "Well, that's a straw man. That's not what I said."
Yeah, that was fucked.
And he didn't. He just kept on going. So I say,
no, you're right.
When someone says, "Hey, that's not what I said," I'm happy to answer your questions. And your answer is no, I don't want to talk to you. I want to say bad things about you. That's dishonest.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. You're right. I'm not gonna pretend like that's not what I saw happen as well. So
we don't know whether Don Pettit is telling the truth or not. We don't really know, right? Unless we are one of those chosen few who have done all of that research. But we don't need Don Pettit to tell us the shape of the Earth.
No,
we can do it ourselves.
Mm.
We can do that ourselves. And when we find that answer, then we'll know which one of these folks was telling us the truth. Was it Bob Nodell? Was Bob Nodell telling us the truth that there's a second sun in the sky that you just can't see?
Oh, you know what? He just had that guy on too, on
Did he have him?
Sunday,
Uh-huh.
and
Did they show that there's a second sun?
no, but he said that he had got some footage of it, or some additional footage, and he didn't play it or anything. But they were kind of talking about that, and he was saying, the polarized filter stuff and how it
Uh-huh.
reacts to it, and how that therefore it can't be what is it,
Right.
reflection inside of the scope or whatever. So
Hey,
I don't know.
maybe
I don't.
he's telling the truth. Maybe
Yeah.
he's
So
telling the truth, and
yeah,
he's the one
yeah. I
who's
don't.
honest,
Yeah, I
right?
don't. I don't know about all that shit. And he seems like a good guy, man. But I don't know, man. I'm just I watch that stuff because it's um it's I like listening to it, because they talk about different stuff and different ways things could possibly work and stuff, and that if he filmed it or not, I mean, or how if it was a reflection in the thing, blah blah blah, like
Yeah. Yeah,
but yeah, he did
maybe he's
talk
telling
about
the
it.
truth, right? From your point of view, maybe he's right. The Earth is flat. There's a second sun. All of that.
Yeah,
Or maybe Don Pettit was telling the truth this whole time,
bro.
and you don't believe that. I know you don't believe that,
Yeah.
but we could do tests all by
Nah,
ourselves
it's not a
to
good
find
video. I
out
saw
which
it
one of them is
just
blatantly wrong. And when we do, we should pause and reevaluate everything else we've assumed about what those people have told us.
all right. Well, hold on one sec. Let's talk about the second son real quick because
Okay, you want to talk? I don't mind
well,
talking.
because Jez said that video was really good, that explaining it or whatever, and I watched it, and he didn't address the polarized filter nature of what aspect of what was done. And do you have anything to add to that, or is that an irrelevant thing, or is that
Um,
is it a point not worth addressing?
it's super not worth addressing.
So why do you think it, or like what would cause that? What would cause it to react to a polarized filter, but not the actual sun that they see?
Do
Or,
you
or
do you happen to own polarized sunglasses?
yeah, yeah, I've done it. The where you block it out and stuff, or physical
Okay.
objects or whatever. Yeah, I've
Well,
seen
I
it.
mean, do you know
There's
why they polarize sunglasses?
it's that blocks out more of the light rays so it doesn't hurt your eyes.
It's because it blocks reflections.
Okay.
And what is it that the globies are saying Bob is
Oh
looking at?
shit! Are you for real? That's
Yeah,
why
I'm
they.
for real.
Wait. Oh man, that's fucked. That's real bad for
So Bob
that,
has
that's
an
real
explanation for that. He says no,
that's
it can't
real.
be a reflection for reasons, and he goes into his reasons why, and they seem
Mm.
sound. It seems like maybe he's got a good point.
No,
Um,
but it filters out physical objects though, not reflections, right?
polarized light bouncing off of a reflective surface tends to be polarized,
Hmm.
and so a polarized sunglasses.
Welcome to the globe. Let's not get carried away, dude. I'm
Yeah,
not on that point
let's
yet.
definitely not get
But
carried away.
I'm not on that
Um,
point. But I'm not going to pretend that he didn't make a good point. So
yeah, so polarized sunglasses will allow light that's aligned a particular way and not aligned the other way.
hmm
And the idea is then that if it's coming off of a reflection, like off the surface of water or something,
hmm
that it will be aligned in the way that the glasses block it. So you get less glare off the ground and you get less reflection off the water surfaces and car windshields and stuff, right? That's why we do it. Bob says that
no, I've seen that.
that can't
Oh, sorry.
happen inside his telescope, and he's certain that it just cannot. And his
Yeah,
his science looks plausible. It's believable. I didn't check it.
yeah.
It could be. He could be right.
Well, they were
He could be
saying that
right.
they were saying that for the reflection to appear, would have to be at a what do they call it? Brewster's angle. It has to be
Yes,
at a
yes.
very
That's what he
specific
talks about.
angle. Yeah, and then they show an experiment of that, of them producing that effect, and they're like, look how specific, it has to be this exactly, and like
Yeah.
the telescope was definitely like they were just winging it, like there wasn't any specific setup, like they walked up and you know and they so
Right.
I don't know.
But here's why I don't believe him. I mean, I don't believe him even enough to bother check his math
Damn,
because
respect.
it doesn't matter. Just
Okay.
put your finger in front of the telescope and find out. And he won't. And the
Mm,
fact that he won't tells me everything I need to know.
gotcha.
Like you
What
point the
happens when
you
you do
point the
that?
telescope at the sun, right? And you say, "Hey,
Mhm,
I see two suns."
mhm.
If I put something, and I don't think your finger will work because it'd be too far out of focus, but we call it the finger test. Put
Gotcha.
something like a tree, um, a power line, something between you and the sun.
Mhm.
If you block both suns, we know it's the same sun. Done. We don't need to talk about Brewster's angle. We don't need to talk about
Oh,
any of that crap. And Bob Nodell knows it.
damn, man.
All he has to do is that, and he won't do it.
Shit.
So there you go. I don't believe him.
Fair enough, dude. Fair enough.
Yeah, Dumb Jesus did not know that's been going on for how long has he been claiming that? I think a year now it's been since
Yeah,
his first big video on it.
they bring it up every now and well, I don't think it's been a year, but it's been probably about 8 months maybe. Or it was like
Okay.
happening during the summer, I think, so
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it must have been during the summer.
or early
It's like
spring, something
six
like that.
months, 8 months,
Yeah,
something.
yeah, give or take. Interesting.
Yeah. And Wolfie has the exact same by happenstance. Wolfie has the exact same telescope, and he showed us all that you can make these things very easily. Um, and it's like, yeah. And then what did Wolfie show? He showed us what happens when you shine it through a tree, and then you see that all three images have the same silhouette of the tree on them. And he showed us, sunspots and flares on the suns and how they all match exactly. And you're like, come on, guys, it's the same sun, you know. And Bob got really angry.
Unfortunate, man.
Yeah. So
It sucks that it has to be that way because, you know, there's like fuck, man, that sucks.
yeah. But there's something I said at the beginning of our conversation I want to bring up again, and that is there's a weird fuzzy spectrum between lying and just being wrong. Um, the human brain is a dark and mysterious place where weird stuff happens, right? I mean, like, for example, you will show me a video with astronauts on wires,
Mhm.
and I will say there's no wires there. Am I lying, or do I just see it different?
I used to think that you guys were lying, but now I'm of a mindset where like some people just can't see it, and to you you're not lying because you're like, yeah, it's I mean, it's fine. That checks out. So,
Right.
you
So
know,
I mean I'm we always have this debate of who's fake and who's real, right? This is a big debate: who's pretending to believe stuff and who really believes stuff. Um, I think Bob might be a flat earther. I think he's a flat earther. I'm not sure though, but I think he is.
oh, real oh, sorry, go ahead, finish your
I
thought.
was just
Sorry.
gonna say, um, I think there's something going on in his mind where, at some part of his mind, he knows that the finger test will reveal he was full of it, and that's why he won't do that test. But he somehow convinced himself that that's not an important test to do, that the polarization test is the important test.
Yeah, because they completely just, I'm not trying to like make fun, like flame them or anything. Because I watched the show, I support those guys, so I'm not trying to shit talk them. But yeah, that's pretty. If that's the way it works out. like the finger test would just body bag it. That's fucked, man.
Well, it would body bag it the other way, right? If the finger test, if you could conclusively show that one of the suns is blocked by a silhouette of a tree branch or something, and the other sun is not, they can't be the same sun. That would body bag us Globers, right?
Right,
Uh,
right.
so why not do that?
Ah, man.
And I think he knows why not. And I just what I
Yeah.
don't know is it conscious? Is it at the conscious thinking level where he says, does he say to himself, "Gosh, I better not do that test, or those globies will eat me alive"? Or is it just a matter of those globies are jerks? I'm not going to do what they say, right? You could maybe
Yeah.
imagine that there's a way where he's just gonna, out of spite, not gonna do it, right? Um, and
Yeah.
but
Dude,
he fully believes what he's saying is true.
yeah. I'm gonna follow up hard on that and reach out to them about that because that's insane if it's literally that easy. Because I don't know shit about telescopes or anything, but when you said that, it made so much sense that it was just like, ah, fuck, should have saw that one coming. So that's crazy, man. But also, I wanted to tell you there was an update. Do you remember? I think we talked about this one. They did the ring gyro or laser gyro thing
Uh-huh,
or
uh-huh.
whatever. And you know how he was saying at different elevations it detected different rotation speeds or whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, he did say that.
he apparently he's like getting the footage to release that or whatever. Or it was our
Oh, no.
he said that it was on Ranty's backup channel. And I don't like know that Ranty guy or anything other than what you've told me about him. But he said that when Ranty uh so this could be totally nothing. So don't, this is just what I've heard. That when Ranty, went back to being a globe believer, sounds so retarded. Anyway, when he left the flat Earth community, he gave his channel to that backup channel to another flat earther, and
Uh-huh.
that's where the results are to that. Would the results of that does that interest you at all or mean anything or
Yeah, I
because
mean,
because
I
I don't
bugged
think
Bob about it quite a bit. I really wanted to see that data,
yeah because I don't think I
but
can't
we couldn't
um
find it. So
yeah, he's as I remember I asked about it and I think Zachary Zambala, I don't know how to say his last name. Zachary Zabala. I think he linked me the video to it, but I don't remember, man, like what I saw. I think I've seen it before. But anyway, that's forthcoming, allegedly or whatever. So
I think
if
it
it
was
comes by,
very interesting.
if it comes by, I'll send it to you. But, I mean, he might be lying, but he says that the video already exists and
Oh,
it's on that backup channel. But I don't know what that channel is or who, or anything
right.
really.
I just
So,
heard from Ranty that that channel is gone now, shut
oh,
down, but
yeah. So,
maybe somebody can get a hold of it still.
yeah, I'm sure somebody had because people download shit. Like I download a lot of
Right.
videos just because they disappear. So,
I would think it was very, very interesting.
yeah,
Um, and I offered to collaborate with Bob on it and say, hey, we could crowdfund getting us a ring laser gyro and fly around with it and like test it on plains and test it on mountains and test it all over the place and make a map of the ether wind with it, right? Or whatever it is that he thinks. Um, and he sounded like maybe he'd be into that, but no, I don't think he really is what I'm saying. I don't think he
yeah.
really wants to know.
Real shame,
Um,
man, because that would be interesting. Like, see, I was like, I'm at the point where I don't give a fuck what the shape is. Like, I just want to know like what like all the different angles to it and stuff. Like I want to know both sides of the argument. I don't want to just be like have a bunch of flat Earth
well,
shit that doesn't make sense. And it's
if
a real
you really
shame.
want to know, Alan, do that research. Don't just look at the flat Earth side. You've got to whenever the flat Earth side says something and it
Yeah,
gets you riled up, you got to look at the other side too.
yeah,
You got to go and see what they're saying. Because otherwise, what you're doing is not an honest investigation, right? And I'll say the same thing, right? if a Globie says some kind of debunk thing that gets me riled up, I really should go and look at what the original person actually said.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
I tend not to.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, man.